Years ago, LA became embedded in a dark part of the country's history, the LA riots. What we saw tore us apart, and much of what we saw from the air.
Many reporters helped record history. One of them, our own Hal Eisner.
And there was a pilot who showed us what it was like from the air. Hal spoke to him. Hal, what was it like 30 years ago?
Well, it was something you simply never forget. April 29th, 1992. It was a Wednesday. It started off like any other day that week, waiting for a jury to render a verdict in the Rodney King case, wondering what it might be, what it would be like. We knew anything could happen, and we were all preparing for it. All of us who report the news on the ground and in the air.
We prepared the helicopter, totally fueled it up, got our camera equipment ready.
It was moments before the Rodney King police beating verdict was to be announced. Anticipating not guilty verdicts in the case, Hannah Zoe Tur recalls that preparation for covering news in the LA skies April 29, 1992 was not going to be like any other day.
I even had a still photographer, and I even brought my lawyer down to the airport to ride with us because I thought there'd be a riot, and I thought that the Los Angeles Police Department would illegally try banning us from the skies by using the Federal Aviation Administration to issue a temporary flight restriction, which I would have violated.
Tur, who was working for our sister station, KCOP Channel 13, was right. The LAPD officers charged in the case were all found not guilty, and demonstrators started filling the streets.
By late afternoon, people were throwing bricks at cars.
That was at the intersection of Florence and Normandy, and Tur was overhead.
We were able to convince the news director that I worked for to go ahead and get us on the air so we can warn people about what was happening at Florence and Normandy.
And there's no police presence down here.
Then came the infamous beating of truck driver Reginald Denny.
Within seconds, his door was ripped open. Mr. Denny was pulled from the vehicle, and he was beaten. He was kicked.
A brick was thrown at his head. He had serious injuries. All that 30 years ago. News coverage from the sky with technology that did the job.
But today, light years ahead.
Tur, who now works in the Silicon Valley with some of the newest emerging news technologies, says everything about telling stories from the sky technologically has improved.
We're using some of the same technology they use on feature films.
Better, more stable cameras, sharper lenses, broadband, cell technology.
Some of the technology I'm seeing that just fits and can fit in your pocket, can broadcast 4K imagery.
But in the end, it's still all about the story, just better ways to tell it.
And you have no idea what's coming in the next 3 to 5 years with drone technology. That is a game changer.
As for what Tur witnessed 30 years ago, that's the kind of thing you never forget.
I remember the events of that day like it was yesterday. It just does not go away.
It really doesn't. I remember being at a church in South LA with several ministers who were going to make an appeal to the public for peace. When they saw Tur's live aerial images of Reginald Denny being beaten, one of them looked at me and he said, and this is a quote, "It's all over." And very quickly, we had fires and looting and days of protest. As for Reginald Denny, he was seriously hurt. He needed years of rehabilitation therapy. As part of our 30th anniversary coverage, we made extensive efforts to try to find him, even at his last known address in Lake Havasu. But understandably, he's made every effort over the years to stay low on the radar. And Alex and Christine, he still is.
Yeah. So, Hal, 30 years later, you and I were both on the streets reporting during that time. I'm wondering if you're feeling like I am, very emotional about tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, look, I remember that day as crystal clear. The verdicts came down. I was with my photographer. We looked at each other and we said, good luck. We don't know what's going to happen. We went to that church. We came out after our news director told us to come back to the station, and as we were driving up La Brea, sofas were on fire in the middle of the street. Other things we had to dodge with our news van as we were going around. It was frightening. And then what proceeded over the next few days was equally frightening. So you know what? It stays with you, and we remember each year, and it comes back because it was not a good time here in the city of Los Angeles. Yeah.